From our Toronto studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I am Ahmed Ramadan. A record 42 Muslim Americans have been elected to public office in the recent US elections. This and more on today's show. Stay tuned. A federal judge has ordered the Trump administration to deliver full food assistance payments for 42 million Americans. U.S. District Judge John McConnell of Rhode Island ruled the government must release all Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program or SNAP benefits without delay. He said the failure to act meant people would go hungry, food pantries would be overwhelmed, and needless suffering would occur. Speaking during a dinner with Central Asian leaders at the White House, President Donald Trump, in response to the judge's order, said we can't give everything away. The Trump administration is appealing the judge's order. The decision follows weeks of disruption during the federal government shutdown, when the administration held back full SNAP payments and issued only partial benefits. Government officials argued that states were to blame for slow distribution, but the judge rejected that claim. McConnell said the Trump administration failed to ensure benefits were delivered and ordered it to use child nutrition funds as well as contingency reserves. Job cuts across the U.S. have topped 1 million this year, the highest since the COVID-19 pandemic. According to Challenger, Gray, and Christmas, more than 153,000 layoffs were announced in October alone. This is a 175% jump from the same month last year and the biggest since October 2023. Analysts say the rise reflects a changing economic landscape driven by new technologies and industry disruptions similar to those that hit telecom and retail 2 decades ago. The firm noted that not only are major companies announcing large-scale layoffs, but more firms overall are planning job reductions. Meanwhile, hiring plans have sharply declined. Employers announced fewer than 490,000 new positions through October, down 35% from last year, marking the lowest figure since 2011. Economists warned the slowdown could signal tougher times ahead for American workers as industries adjust to automation and cost pressures. A record 42 American Muslims have been elected to public office in the recent U.S. elections, which analysts say shows the growing political strength of the community. The list includes 5 mayors, 4 state legislators, 2 judges, and dozens of city council, county, and school board members across 9 states. Among the historic wins are Zohran Mamdani, who became New York City's first Muslim mayor, and Ghazala Hashmi, Virginia's first Muslim lieutenant governor. She is also the first Muslim woman ever elected to statewide office in U.S. history. The Council on American Islamic Relations, or CARE, and its affiliate CARE Action says 76 Muslim candidates ran nationwide. CARE called the results a victory for justice and equality, saying many candidates overcame hate campaigns and Islamophobia to earn the trust of voters. The group said the results show growing civic engagement among Muslim Americans. Most federal investigations into anti-Semitism on college campuses in the U.S. are actually targeting students and professors critical of Israel, not anti-Jewish hate. A new study by the American Association of University Professors and the Middle East Studies Association found about 80% of such cases simply describe criticism of Israel or Zionism with no reference to Jews or Judaism. The study's researchers warned that investigations, which surged after October 2023 and record numbers were opened in 2024 and this year, have created a new system of government surveillance over campus speech. The authors accused the administrations of former President Joe Biden and President Donald Trump of misusing civil rights laws to suppress dissent and censor free speech over Israel's genocide in Gaza. They call the trend a perverse misuse of the Civil Rights Act. The report also says right-wing and pro-Israel advocacy groups filed most of the complaints recorded, while racial harassment investigations have nearly stopped. Crowds of Palestinians are lining up outside food distribution points in Gaza's Al-Mawasi area. They are waiting for small portions of food as aid remains limited due to Israel's restrictions. Although the ceasefire deal pledged 600 aid trucks daily into Gaza, aid agencies say Israel is only allowing about a quarter to a third to reach people on the ground. The World Bank says nearly all Palestinians have been pushed into poverty after 2 years of what it called war in Gaza. It has left them fully dependent on humanitarian assistance. The first phase of the U.S. brokered truce between Israel and Hamas that went into effect on October 10 includes prisoner exchanges, reconstruction plans, and talks on a new government body without Hamas. Israel has violated the ceasefire more than 100 times since it came into effect last month. For nearly 3 years, Gaza has lived in the dark. Israel's total cutoff of electricity has pushed families to the brink, forcing them to burn wood for light and warmth. In this report, we look at how life has become a daily struggle for survival. In Gaza, darkness has become part of daily life. Entire families, like the Abu Naji from Maghraka, live in makeshift tents beside the rubble of their homes. To survive, they burn wood for light and warmth. The smoke fills their tents, causing breathing problems and burns. The mother says her husband's leg was burned and her hands were injured while washing clothes without power. Cooking is also a challenge. Charging a phone costs 5 shekels. Bread is baked in pots. Nights are long and terrifying. She pleads for her children's rights, saying life in darkness has become unbearable. Doctors Without Borders says it has suspended operations in parts of Sudan's North Darfur after a series of deadly drone attacks. Details coming up after the break. Welcome back. Israel continues to violate the U.S. brokered ceasefire with deadly raids and airstrikes across Palestinian areas. 2 16-year-old boys, Mohammed Abdullah Taim and Mohammed Rashad Fadl Qasim, were shot dead by Israeli forces near Al-Quds or Jerusalem last night. Their bodies have been withheld from their families. In Gaza, a child was injured when a bomb fired from an Israeli drone hit the Shujaya neighborhood. Air and artillery strikes also pounded Khan Yunis despite a month-long truce. The health ministry says more than 240 Palestinians have been killed since early October when the US-backed ceasefire was announced. Only 84 of the 285 bodies of Palestinians returned from Israel could be identified so far due to severe torture. The UN says Israel has blocked more than 100 aid entry requests to Gaza since October 10th. Israel's genocide in Gaza has killed at least 68,875 Palestinians and wounded 170,679 since October 2023. In Sudan, heavy fighting in the Darfur region has forced tens of thousands to flee their homes. The UN Migration Agency says more than 81,000 people have escaped the city of Al-Fashir, the capital of North Darfur, since late October. The International Organization for Migration says most displaced families are still inside North Darfur, while others have reached nearby towns. Aid worker reports that roads remain dangerous, blocking relief deliveries. UNICEF says many families arriving in the town of Tawaila are exhausted, hungry, and in urgent need of medical care. The Rapid Support Forces, or RSF, captured Al-Fashir city on October 26, deepening Sudan's year-long conflict. The UN warns the war has killed thousands and displaced millions nationwide. Doctors Without Borders says it has suspended operations in parts of Sudan's North Darfur after a series of deadly drone attacks. The medical charity, also known as MSF, said paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, or RSF, targeted several towns. The attacks forced hundreds of civilians to flee towards Chad. MSF said drone hit Kornoy Hospital on November 3rd, killing and wounding several patients, among them children and 2 pregnant women. Its teams in Tine, Chad, have treated about 50 people injured in North Darfur drone strikes since late October. MSF said its staff withdrew temporarily due to security risks but hopes to return soon. The group called the strikes horrifying, warning that attacks on hospitals endanger lives. It also deprives civilians of vital care amid Sudan's deepening war between the army and the RSF. A new report says Afghanistan's opium crop has plummeted following the Taliban's 2022 ban on poppy cultivation. Opium production in Afghanistan has dropped by 32%. The report by the UN Office on Drugs and Crime, or UNODC, also found the total area used for growing opium poppies has fallen by 20% since 2024. Afghanistan's poppy fields were once responsible for more than 80% of the world's opium. They are now mainly confined to the country's northeast. This year, 4 provinces, Balkh, Farah, Laghman, and Uruzgan, were declared poppy-free. But the UN also warns that since poppy was far more profitable than other crops, many Afghan farmers face worsening poverty, with some abandoning their land due to a lack of alternatives or government support. While the Taliban considers the 2022 ban a moral victory, the UN says trafficking in synthetic drugs like methamphetamine has risen by 50% since poppy cultivation was made illegal. A Brazilian hairdresser says she is stunned to see her face linked to India's election fraud controversy. Larissa Neri found her image displayed during a press conference by Indian opposition leader Rahul Gandhi, who accused Prime Minister Narendra Modi's ruling party of manipulating voter lists. Neri, who lives in the city of Belo Horizonte in Brazil, has never been to India, told the BBC she first thought it was a prank when strangers began tagging her online. A photo of her, taken in 2017 by Brazilian photographer, appeared 22 times under different names in the voter list of the northern Indian state of Haryana. Neri said she became afraid after journalists and strangers from India began calling her, going as far as contacting her workplace. India's opposition has long accused the ruling Hindu nationalist Bharatiya Janata Party, or BJP, as well as the Election Commission, of allowing large-scale voter list manipulation. They argue that millions of fake or duplicate entries were added to tilt state elections in favor of the right-wing BJP. The BJP repeatedly has secured surprising victories despite pre-election surveys and opinion polls that indicate the opposite. At least 54 people were injured after a series of blasts hit a school mosque in Indonesia's capital, Jakarta, during Friday prayers. The explosions occurred at State Senior High School 72 just after noon. Students and teachers were among the injured. Most had cuts and bruises from flying glass and shockwaves. Police sealed the area and called in bomb squads. They found what appears to be an airsoft rifle bearing references to convicted mass killers at the scene. The rifle carried disturbing words, "Welcome to Hell," for Agartha, and the names of mosque attackers from Sweden, Christchurch, New Zealand, and Quebec City, Canada. One was Brenton Tarrant, a white supremacist who killed 51 worshippers, including children, in Christchurch, New Zealand in 2019. Another was Alexandre Bessonnet, who killed 6 men at a mosque in Quebec City, Canada in 2017. In 2015, Anton Lundin Patterson killed 3 people and injured another 2 with a sword at a primary school in Trollhättan, Sweden. Authorities said Patterson was motivated by opposition to immigration. The number 1189, the year the Third Crusade started, was also carved on the rifle found at Friday's blast. As well, officers recovered items resembling homemade bombs, remote controls, and airsoft guns. Indonesia's elite Anti-Terror Detachment 88 has joined the probe. Experts are testing the materials to learn if the blasts were deliberate or part of a planned attack. A new study suggests blocking certain brain cell chemicals could help prevent dementia. Researchers at Weill Cornell Medicine found free radicals in non-neuronal brain cells called astrocytes may trigger brain inflammation and damage neurons. Published in Nature Metabolism, the study showed blocking these radicals with special molecules called S3QELs reduced brain inflammation and protected brain cells. Tests on mice with dementia found that treatment worked even in later stages, improving lifespan and showing no harmful side effects. The discovery could pave the way for new therapies to treat Alzheimer's and other neurodegenerative diseases. Lead researcher Dr. Anna Orr said the findings could target specific mechanisms in the brain to slow or prevent disease. That's all from our Toronto studios. Thank you for watching Muslim News. We are a community channel dedicated to bringing you stories you can trust. Please like, share, and subscribe to our content. You can also comment to let us know what you think of our coverage. You can donate now by visiting muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV.